Welcome to the table. Yeah. Welcome to the table. Build wealth, life. Welcome to the table.
They say by 2054 that the majority of African Americans, black people, will have zero to negative wealth. Already today, we're seeing that nearly 80% of American people are living paycheck to paycheck. The wealth gap between African Americans are at an all-time, but we are starting to see the wealth gap close a little bit. One of the things that we teach here at the table is how do we, one, get more income so we can eliminate debt so that we can build wealth and leave a legacy for our children's children. And I was learning, and I remember, like, man, I'm teaching everyone how to get out of debt. I'm teaching everyone how to invest. I'm teaching everyone how to budget, but you can't do those things if you don't have an income coming in. And so as I started doing research and really learning, okay, what's creating net worth millionaires? What are the best career fields for people to get into with little to no knowledge, with no previous experience in it? And the very first career field that came up was the tech field. It's a tech industry. When I look at a lot of the tech industry people, this is the industry that's creating net worth millionaires. And keep this in mind, you guys. Net worth millionaires doesn't mean you make $1 million a year. It means that you have an income, you're stewarding that income well, you're investing it well, you're living below your means, and you're creating more assets than liabilities. So net worth is all of your assets minus your liabilities, that equals what you have. So if you're investing into your 401k, your Roth IRAs, living below your means, you can build a net worth of $1 million by making $80,000 a year, $100,000 a year. And tech is the best industry to get into to generate not just the income, but the time to enjoy the fruit of your labor. And I'm super excited today because we have a quick check-in. I'm doing this every month now with my partners, like just checking in, and I want to get hard testimonies. You know, it's great to bring on my partners with me and have the CEOs and the representatives of the company come on and share about the company, but that's great. We need to put people in front of you all who've gone through the process, who've learned, and who has changed their lives. And today, man, I got another Anthony for y'all, you know what I'm saying? I got another brother. You know, he don't look as good as me, but his hair is longer than mine. And I'm excited because, y'all, within a matter of a year, he gave himself a $45,000 a year pay raise. I'm gonna say it one more time. Within a matter of a year, he gave himself a $45,000 pay raise. He made a small investment into Yellowtail, right? He learned. He dialed in, he asked the right questions, he did exactly what they told him to do. And within a matter of a year, this young, single, non-married man who is a father, right, now has more income. He went from making $65,000 to over $100,000 a year within a matter of 1 year. And I want to get him on the show. But before we get to my brother, Anthony with the longer hair, I'm the Anthony with the short, clean, crisp hair. You know, I want to bring in my brother, Jubee, real quick. Jubee, Yellowtail Tech has been in business for 9 years. 71% of your students are African Americans, which I love. And I think everybody, black, white, Hispanic, you name it, needs to specifically look into you. But what I love about your company is it's African American, it's minority founded, it's minority owned, and the majority of people are minorities, and you're helping minorities like Anthony, who we're gonna bring here in a little bit, really change their lives. And one of the key things that I love about this partnership, and I was like, man, this is important for me to share to my people, is that nearly 80% of the people who complete your program, as far as when they do exactly what you and your team tell them to do, they're landing jobs. From your shoes, how is this possible? Because that's better than someone paying $100,000 at a 4-year university. We got people who are paying $100,000 to go to a 4-year university, got a degree, and can't even get a job in the field that they got a degree in, but you all are doing it at 80% in the field that you're training them for. What's the key to that's making this happen?
Well, I can tell you first, it's because I went through that issue that you described. I went to a college for management information systems, and I went out luckily I didn't come out with student loans, but I couldn't find a job in my field that could pay me anything more than $45,000. You know, I would get in as an analyst. So I had to find somewhere else to add additional specific knowledge to my training, which was Linux. So one thing I realized is that school in general, they don't optimize for the job. They optimize for you to learn. So when we founded Yellowtail Tech, we said we're gonna do this differently. We're gonna focus on the outcome. We're gonna focus on the job. That's why our program is called Linux for Jobs and Cloud for Jobs. So we can never forget why we are in this for. So this is the first reason, to tell you the truth, that we get those results, because we have been optimizing for this result from day one. And the second reason is that we chose our niche and stuck to it. When you know your niche, you understand what kind of students you are receiving, you can cater and build programs specifically for them. Yeah. We cater specifically to people with no IT background. So our programs are intentionally slower. They intentionally have more support. They actually are built for the kind of people we attract. Yeah. So the kind of support you get is something that you won't get anywhere else. Any other kind of boot camps, weekend support, all kind of support, after hour support, you name it, we offer it to our students, because we also cater to people with real jobs and real lives, you see. Yeah. So these are the things we intentionally looked into from day one. And also the stats you've mentioned, which is everyone who actually complete the program within a year, we have a 78% conversion rate. It's also because we don't stop at the training when it comes to helping them. They have access to an apprenticeship that Anthony can talk to you about. They have access to a career coach. They don't, even after that, they get check-ins. They get other kinds of support we know that is necessary. Yeah. Because the job search process can be lonely. It is. You know, so all these supports are accumulated and help get the conversion rate a bit higher. It's not one thing. It's not a one magic bullet. It's the amount of intention that goes into the process, I think, that helps us deliver those results.
No, and that's one thing I love about you, your beautiful wife and your team over there at Yellowtail, who I can tell that you all have really spent some time to dial in and to help the right person. You all don't want just anybody. You want the right person, so that way, once they make this investment, they have an 80% chance of landing a job if they follow the process. And I love that. And y'all, we're gonna put their information in the show notes today. Is AnthonyONeal.com/Yellowtail. You'll be able to go and get some more information. This is a company who I've partnered with, who I stand behind. And you'll see the partnership when you go to AnthonyONeal.com/Yellowtail. I want to bring you in, Anthony, because I think it's very important for us to talk to someone who's going through this process. And so I'm gonna ask you some questions. If it's too personal, tell me if it's too personal. But I want to start off with this, Anthony. How old are you right now?
38.
38 years old. Okay, cool. So you took this program right around 37, 36, am I correct?
Yeah, I probably maybe just before my 37th birthday, something like that.
Nice. So non-married, because I don't want to be disrespectful if you are dating someone, so I can say non-married, because I know how ladies are. Oh, you single now? So let me clean that up, because I don't want to be too personal, but non-married, and you are a father, correct?
Yes, correct.
Man, I love it. I love this. Yeah, I love it. So let's talk about this process. Did you have any background in IT at all before coming over to Yellowtail?
0%. No IT background. Like most, I like to call myself a little computer savvy, but as far as IT experience, 0%.
So from someone who has zero knowledge of the, because you're in the Linux space, right? You're not in AWS. You're in Linux, correct?
Correct. I'm a Linux system admin now.
Okay, cool, great. So for someone who didn't know anything about that, what would you say to the person who's watching right now who says, yo, I don't have any IT, I've heard of Linux, but I really don't know what Linux is. What would you say Linux is? And then Jubee, if you want to come behind them and spice it up from a professional standpoint, you can. But I'm curious, from someone who just got into it, how would you describe that to your daughter, you know, to a friend who's thinking about checking out Yellowtail today, but they're not really familiar with the term Linux? It sounds techie, Anthony, let's be real. It sounds techie,
Right.
but it's not that techie. What would you say?
Yeah, to keep it simple, I would just say it's the operating system that basically runs the world. It is the base of all supercomputers, financial services, government servers, their infrastructures. Linux is the non-consumer popular operating system that basically runs the world. That's the easy way to put it.
Would you agree with that too as well, Jubee?
Yes. The part where he says runs the world can sound hyperbolic, but it's true. It's true, by the way. More than 90% of supercomputers, servers that run all applications, all servers, Riverside, you know, AWS, you name it, they run Linux. And for one simple reason. It's because it's more scalable, it's more secure, it's open source, it's modular, meaning you use exactly the amount, the part of the operating system you need. So let's name a company like Amazon or Facebook. All their infrastructure are run 100% on Linux. So it's to tell you, it actually does run the world. The reason why you don't know about it, like Anthony mentioned, it's because it's not a consumer facing product. It's a back-end product. So once you get on Facebook.com, you don't care, you know, where those applications are being managed and stored, but they are being managed on a Linux server. So that's why
good.
Most people don't know much about it.
I love this, because I think the problem that people may have is, like, I hear Linux, y'all saying it's easy, but how do I put a picture in my head to what it is? Facebook. Let's use Facebook as a clear example. Well, a lot of us think it's just a website that just sits on a website. But no, there's a whole computer, a whole system that's sitting somewhere, which is Linux, that's running that program, that's allowing that program to have millions of people on there. And it has to keep running, but it has to sit somewhere. And so Linux helps that move forward. We don't see it per se, but we do see it because we're on Facebook.
Exactly. It's abstracted. So because you don't need to deal with the back end, so they abstract it with a nice user experience on a website. So that's what happens with most consumer product. They abstract the user side of it for you to just love using it. And the rest, because you don't care or you don't know about it, is in the back end. For example, your Mac. Your Mac runs on a version of Linux, an old version of Linux called Unix. That's a whole other story, but it runs a version of Linux. But you don't know that, and you don't care to actually know that if you're not in this business.
I don't care for it. I really don't. But it's like when you're like Anthony, when you go from, I think Anthony, from what you told me before we jumped on the show, you were making right around $65,000. What was it, in the healthcare business? I forgot what it was in.
Yes, sir, in healthcare.
Healthcare. To where now, what would you say your income will be in 2024?
Roughly 110.
You went from $65,000 2 years ago to now making $110,000. In this part of the tech space, is there more room for you to go up? Like, can you go from 110 to 115 to 120 in the next couple of years? Like, is there advancement opportunities there within the Linux and the AWS career? Or where you at right now?
Yes, sir. So yeah, like you said, those I'm looking for bigger jumps than that actually. But yes, it is open and available. Just like getting to this point was, I'm attacking that just as strong and hungry for that next jump to try to double next time.
What would you say to people? Because $45,000, that's why I needed you on this show today. $45,000 is a game changer for everyone. I don't care where you are.
Oh,
you
yeah.
go from making 50,000 to 95,000. You're in a different tax bracket. You're eating different. You're walking different. You're talking different. To go from 65 to $110,000. You know, you're waking up different. Watch this. Let's be real here. $45,000 pay raise. You're going to sleep different. Your family is different. When you find your wife, Jubee noticed he married. When there's an increase in income, it's like, wow, like your wife is even more calmer. Like, okay, we have some margin, we have some room. I'm curious for you as a single father, I keep saying this, as a non-married father, how do you feel with that income increase?
Yeah, so for me, it's definitely an increase in peace for sure. And I think before I even signed up for the program, like my checklist was, of course you wanted that increase of pay, but I didn't want to hate my job. I might not need to love it, but I don't want to hate it. Waking up every day, like you said, is waking up better. Also, I didn't want to be a slave to my job. I wanted to have a better work-life balance. And so, yeah, like currently, and like you said, just going to another bracket. So I live in LA. So on the West Coast, our means are a little higher. So yeah, it definitely gave me a lot more ease. And in my position, I work about 90% remote. So it allows me to stay home. I'm a snowboarder, so I take a lot of snow trips.
Wow.
I'm in and out a lot now.
Wow.
I can have a lot better work-life balance, just to say the least.
So I guess Jubee, and again, this is why I said I got to have someone factual on here, because one of the things that Jubee says, which I believe and I know it, but I've never worked in the tech field, you got a pay raise, but you also got some time back to where now you can do the snow trips. Now you can be more involved with your daughter. Now, if you are dating someone, you can have more of a intentional dating atmosphere, right? So would you agree that getting into the tech industry allows you more of your time back, still got to work and be effective on your job, but now you're making more money. Now you could be a better father because of the tech industry. Would you agree with that?
Oh, very much so, 100%. Like you said, I have so much more time back being able to work remotely when I need to. I go into the office if I need to versus being mandatory to go. And yeah, just being able to work in the tech space, it's almost one of those trades where it's something you know it or you don't. So it's like if like an electrician, if I ask you to hook up this light bulb, instead of you either know how to do it or you don't with this panel. So it's kind of in that space, and it lets you to work efficiently at your own pace.
I love it. So let's talk about Yellowtail real quick. Why someone watching right now who's looking for that pay raise, who's looking for that new career field, they've heard of tech, and there's a lot of boot camps out there, right? I know why Yellowtail, but from someone who's going through it, who's going through the process, if you could literally tell us a little bit about your journey, your process with Yellowtail, why you chose Yellowtail, what was that process like, and why should someone else who's watching this right now give Yellowtail a call, get a free consultation, and sit down and figure out if this is a good program for them?
Yeah, sure. For me, quickly, once you get inside, you realize it's the structure and the community that Yellowtail builds. Shout out to David Baker, my first instructor. Yeah, so you get in, it's not a traditional class where you get information, you get homework, and you have to turn the homework in, and then you move on. No, it's it's everything is at your own pace. They'll release a module of work that you to go through. You go through that, you work through that. They encourage the community for people to start their own study groups. They have weekend session study groups, the whole nine. And then after that, like you said, you have your the internship program that they get you through. That's kind of that great bridge. So you always have programs that'll give you information and say, good luck, go find a job. Like, no, you actually have that bridge was the biggest part for me, having that real world experience of getting some internship work. And then even after that, like Jubee mentioned, you have career coaches that give you resume building, mock interviews, the whole nine, to practice so you get familiar with speaking to the industry and the technologies that you learn versus just being able to know how to do them, now know how to speak to them while working with them in a professional space. So just that is the whole was the big for me. It's just a big community versus a class.
Dude. No, to me, that's important. That's one thing, Jubee. I really want to talk to the community aspect that you're building over there. As far as, okay, they're not just coming in. It's not a self-paced thing. You're not by yourself. You all have been very strategic about making sure that they have an instructor, that they're around other like-minded people like Anthony, that they are connected with not just the staff, but the community. Talk a little bit about that, Jubee, on how this sets you all aside from other boot camps that may even be cheaper. You know, let's be honest in that. But you all provide such quality and connection that I believe leads to currency. Talk a little bit about that for me.
Yeah, and the first thing I want to make sure people understand is the reason why we attract the kind of student that finishes is because we are very clear about the kind of student we want. Mm-hmm. We attract the students we want. We attract the students that are really here to make a difference in their lives. We actually try to stay away from dabblers because it's gonna take work. The first thing is bringing in the right candidate for the right program, which is what we try to do. And the second part is not only encouraging a community, but creating a space for it. For example, on the weekend, we have instructors available for people to pop in to get the support they need. Wow. Because we know momentum is very important. If you during the weekend, if you're trying to do the work and then you're stuck, you don't have to wait until Tuesday when your class meets to actually get unstuck to keep moving. These are the things we actually offer, and we encourage the students to create a study group to actually mingle and support each other. We just launched a new program where, because we understand that especially the job search process is very lonely. Mm-hmm. In fact, even in college, there is such a thing as post-graduation depression. Because now the reality is, okay, I've learned all that, I have to go alone. Now my peers are my competitors. I have to go out there and look for a job. So what we've done is have a program, a mentorship program, where a student who just got a job becomes the mentor to other students who are in the process. That way they can be in a space where they understand it might take work, but they are not in it alone. Yeah. And they are in it with someone who just made it happen. So they are talking to the person they want to be in 2 months, literally. They are being encouraged and mentored and supported by someone who just went through the process. So these are all the things we put together. We offer all included in the program to actually not only foster community, but actually help you get to the finish line. Because it breaks my heart when people drop off, especially at the last part, because a lot of effort is put in by us, by them. A lot of money is invested, a lot of time is already invested. So we make sure we get them to the end as you know, by all means possible.
So real quick, as we're coming to the close of this, because I really want people to get a consultation, you guys. They are willing to sit down with you and just walk through the process of it, but I really want to walk through the basic process right now, Jubee, on what does this look like. So they will sign up for a consultation. From the consultation, you all will determine if they're a great candidate for the program. And then from that program, is it a 6-month program or a 9-month program?
So the first thing they're going to do is a 10-minute quick call, just finding out where they are at, if this will even work out for them in terms of schedule, in terms of time commitment, and so on.
Okay.
And then they move into a proper career strategy session with an enrollment advisor that's going to make sure to explain them what is the cadence of the program, what it entails, what kind of commitment and time and money it's going to take. Also make sure they decide which program fits best or what they're trying to accomplish. All that is going to be done with them with an enrollment advisor, and from there, only from there, they're going to get a chance to enroll in the program that fits best, and go from there. And your second question is, there are 2 programs. There's a Linux system administration program, and there's the cloud system administration program. That's going to be decided between them and the enrollment advisor with all the information put forth. And the Linux program is 6 months, and the cloud program is 11 months.
And if I'm working full time, if I'm working full time Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, can I still sign up for the program?
In fact, it is catered, built, and intentionally developed for someone with a full-time job.
Anthony, was it difficult working a full-time job and going to Yellowtail, or as a student? I mean, of course it's going to be difficult because you got to work, you're a father, and you had to go back to school. But as a student who went through it, did you feel it was doable? And did you feel like, Yellowtail had their stuff together to where it made it easier for me to finish the program?
Yes, exactly that. So, like anything worthwhile, it's going to take some work and some sacrifices. So I knew that going in, but I was willing to put in the time and effort that it was going to take. Of course, I had a full-time working 40 to 50 hours a week job, but the program is in the early evening. So they do help to accommodate that as close as possible for timing-wise. And then, you just got to cut out a few normal life distractions and sacrifices and sit down, buckle down, and put in the necessary time and effort to get to where I am now, where I wanted to be.
Shoot. I mean, Anthony, you made $45,000 extra in 1 year. I would definitely say buckling down was worth it. Jubee, how many hours a day does someone need to give to this program after work to finish it within 6? Like, is it 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, is it 3 hours a day? What does that look like throughout the work week for that individual?
Let's put it in terms of week instead, because it might vary, but it's 7 to 10 hours a week.
7 to 10 hours a week.
That's the commitment required. Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad at all. 7 to 10 hours a week with a good pay raise possibly coming down the road, and you learn a good skill. I love it. I love it. Well, you guys, we wanted to just come and check in. We're going to bring them back on next month to do another update as well, just like this, with another student, and answer any more questions that some may have. But I really want to encourage you. They do have classes here starting soon. So enrollment is open right now. This is not a come today, sign up tomorrow, and you're in the class tomorrow. They have different sessions that starts, periodically throughout the year. And so I really want to make sure that I'm positioning you all to make more income so that you can start eliminating debt, building wealth, and starting that journey of building a true legacy. So give them a check. Go check out the website, schedule you a consultation. Remember, this is not going to be for everybody. Now, if you just want to give them a call just to see what it's like. No. If you really want to change your life, if you're dedicated, if you have a little bit of computer skills, you know how to get around a computer, you can type, you know how to, the basics of computer stuff, and you really, really, really want change, you want more freedom, I want you to give a Yellowtail a check. So go to anthonyoneal.com/Yellowtail. They'll be ready to get you in, and I promise you, you will be great. So like I say on every single show, the caliber of your future will be determined by the choices you make today. I believe that if you want to change the caliber of your future, you need to change the caliber of your choices and your decisions. And some of you all are working a career field like Anthony said earlier, to where he felt like a slave to his job. And if that is you and you're ready to feel free, which we're focusing on abundance, wellness, and freedom, I want you to give my friends over at Yellowtail an opportunity to help you experience what you want to experience. So check them out, anthonyoneal.com/Yellowtail. It'll be in today's show notes. Give Jubee and this amazing team a follow. And ladies, stay out of Anthony's DM.
Welcome to the table. Yeah, yeah.